4 minutes each, Thank you. I fully support this motion, and I think it's laudable that the Minister has accepted it, and I think it's a very welcome fact that he has, because it makes perfect sense, and there's no reason why any government should have rejected it. And I suppose maybe it's a sign of new politics, in that because if this had happened before February this year, this motion would have been rejected out of hand by the previous government and would have been voted down. And I think the fact that 11,000 children will now automatically get a medical card is very, very welcome, and is a great relief for those families of children who have a lot to compete with and a lot of difficulties in their way. And we, as a state and as representative of the state, shouldn't be compounding the difficulties that those families have to deal with. And for their children to automatically get a card will be a great relief for them, because I know in very many cases the parents themselves aren't looking for the card. It's only just to have their child's needs looked after, and that's what parents put their own lives on hold to make sure that their child can have the best life possible that they can. And anything that we can do and the state can do to actually facilitate that has to be welcomed. But I think it's a pity that we have to wait for legislation, like Deputy Kelly was saying. I think PCRS could actually start rolling it out now, or even if legislation could be taken through the House now very quickly, given that it was a commitment in the programme for government. And I would imagine the legislation wouldn't need to be that complicated to actually allow it to happen. Surely it could have been ready and prepared in the 10 weeks that the government has been in place at the moment. The only problem I had with the motion was the idea in it that the domiciliary care assessment would be used as a model for actually doing the assessment for medical cards. And I'm glad that the government hasn't accepted that part of it, because I think that would have led to its own difficulties. Because we had in the last all here, we had private members' motions up about the assessment process for domiciliary care allowance and the difficulties that parents had in actually accessing that in the first place. So I think that would have led to its own problems. And I suppose maybe when you be around this House for too long, you might become a bit cynical, and maybe I'd be afraid now that maybe we might see the domiciliary care application process actually get that bit harder now in the future. And I hope that doesn't become the case, but I fear that it might be, given that it now automatically will mean that the family will be entitled to carers allowance and a medical card. And I hope that we don't see that happening, and that we don't have further motions in the future coming forward here in the House in relation to the actual difficulties in relation to getting domiciliary care in itself, and I hope that doesn't happen. I just want to talk briefly, for the time I've left, and just in relation to the medical card application process itself at the moment. And there is things that should be done to to tweak it and make it more responsive to people's needs. I believe all along, and I think everybody, one of us here in the House, would see people coming into to deal with them in their constituency offices, applying for a medical card, and you know right well that they won't pass the means test, but yet they have to go through it, and they have medical conditions and they have medical complaints that would justify a card, but they have to go the whole way through the process of means assessment to actually get to the point, and fail the means test to get to the point where their medical condition is actually looked at. And I think if the system allowed for medical to go straight, bypass the means test and go straight to having the medical needs assessed, that would actually be something that would be worthwhile as well. In relation to the medical card operation at the moment, I note that a lot of discretion has actually been removed from PCRS at the minute. I had a case in the last couple of weeks of a constituent who was refused a medical card because he was 19 cent over the limit on the means test assessment. Now, in the last couple of years, if somebody had been 10, 15, 20 euro over the limit, they would still have got their card. But 19 cent to be refused for, I mean, I think that's an actual disgrace in this stage. It may be a blip in the system, but it happened, and I don't think that should continue either.
Thank you. Deputy John Collins.